back's turned. Origi turns, shoots.
Build the dream in FIFA 20, pay less and get more, and use the code TVM at checkout for a bigger discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another FIFA 20 squad builder. Now that the top 100 FIFA ratings are out, I decided to take the worst, and I don't mean the lowest rated, I just mean the ones that just look terrible, and make a squad out of them. I've tried to make it with the highest chemistry possible. I think I've managed 76 chemistry. It is an overall of 82, although we're not taking the bench into consideration, so that's why it's quite low. But like I said, I'm not necessarily going to be taking the... all the 85s, because that would be boring. There are quite a few high-rated cards in there. There's an 89 in there, for instance. The reason I'm going to do that is because some of them they either don't match up, like they've got really high overalls, but their stats are just poor, or they just don't look that good. Some of them, however, don't actually look that bad, but they are the worst in that position. First of which, of course, is going to be a goalkeeper, Donnarumma. He doesn't look that bad. 90. It says pace and dribbling there. I've just realised, and I do apologise. But either way, you've got 90, 90, 80, 49, which is speed, and then 74, which is kicking, and then 80 positioning, of course. So, yeah, okay, his speed and his kicking could be slightly higher, but he's not a bad goalkeeper, so I'm not going to hold that against him. He was just the worst in that position. BONUCCI, this is a pretty bad card. 58 pace, a bit of a downgrade there. The only one stat above 80. And that's his defensive stat. If you take that away, and I said this in the video I did yesterday, if you take that away, you've got nothing. There's nothing good about that card at all. In my opinion, I don't think you're going to see it once, unless someone packs him untradeable. This is even worse, though. Mats Hummels, I've gone for a 3 at the back, because there weren't really any bad fullbacks. They've absolutely butchered Mats Hummels' pace. I think they've downgraded it by plus 10, at least, if not more than that. His physical stats have been ruined as well. He's got 89 defensive stat, which is decent, but the rest of it is just shocking. And I had to include it for that. It wasn't easy to get him in there for chemistry, really. I had to sort of think outside the box. But yeah, not a great card at all. Don't see anyone using that. Next up is going to be Gerard Piqué. I don't think this is a bad card. His pace is bad, of course it is, but it's actually been upgraded by 1, believe it or not. But he's got decent defensive stats. His physicals are not too bad at all. He's got moderate passing. There is a small list of 4 players, after I show you the squad, that are sort of honourable mentions. There is a centre-back within those 4 that might shock you, but I think that Piqué and him might be on the same level. But I opted for Piqué. Moving on to the midfield, Sergio Busquets, not a good card. How is this? 89 rated. How is he 89 rated? Unbelievable. 42 pace, no surprise. He's never been quick. Doesn't have great shooting, fine. But he's only got 80 passing, 80 physical, and 81 dribbling. And he's an 89 rated card. He must have some mental in-games to warrant that overall rating. Yes, 85 defending is very, very good. But okay, you've got more than maybe 1 or 2 stats that are over 80 rated, but that is such a high rating. Just not that great. Muller, shocking. How is this guy an 86 rated card? He's got 83 shooting, which is great, and that's where the great ends, because everything else is just bad. He obviously doesn't have great agility, we know that. We can't see that on the card, but we know from past experience Muller has got, the agility of a rock. You've got okay passing for a starter player, but this isn't a starter player. Poor physicals, not great passing, pace, just overall not a great card. This is one of the worst in my opinion. If you are using him as a central card, not a problem, actually not that bad. I wouldn't mind having him in my team if he was a centre mid. EA have given him a right mid card, meaning that you're going to have a 68 pace player on the right. Yeah, feel free to start him on the right and then move him into the middle. I won't have a problem with that, and that's not too bad. But you don't often get many people who, sort of play with a wing formation and then convert into a formation that doesn't have wingers in game. I just don't like that card. Coutinho is only on the list because I needed a left mid or left wing, and he was the only one that really came into question, and it's just because of the pace. But ultimately, Coutinho's always had great acceleration, poor sprint speed, so I'm not too concerned. That image, though, they could have chosen something else. He looks like a clown. His teeth are shocking. But, we don't discriminate against physical features, although he did do that to himself. But the pace is it's off-putting, but he's not that bad. I'm not going to complain too much about that. This one, though, I will complain about. How? Someone please explain to me. How is that an 85 rated card? He's been downgraded from, as in total stats, he's been downgraded from his FIFA 19 card, and he's still retained the 85 overall. It was barely an 85 in FIFA 19. In fact, it wasn't then. They've downgraded it and still kept him 85. I do not understand. Only one stat above 80, and that's 81. Yes, it's well-rounded. I mean, it's such a well-rounded card, but it's still only an 83, if that. Shocking. Karim Benzema, for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 seasons, has been given these cards with no pace. I think he had a UCL card, actually. FIFA 19 that was like 88, 89 rated or something, but it had the stats of like an 83 rated card, sort of points per position if you look on Footbin, and this is no different. Honestly, this card is an 84 rated card, if that, and that's pushing it. The dribbling is what pushes that. But an 87 rated card for someone with quite low shooting and not that great passing, doesn't look great, but it's not as bad as this. Mauro Icardi has made the move to PSG, foolishly in my opinion, because he's not going to get in the team ahead of Neymar, Mbappe, Di Maria, or indeed Cavani, but there we are. One stat above 80. In fact, one stat above 77. Shooting 84. It's just so bad. How can you justify giving him an 85 rated card? I mean, that does complete our lineup, by the way. That's the 11 players that I think are the worst. Although there are 1 or 2 that really do push that boundary, and that's the team in all its glory. I've tried to make it work. It's not terrible. I mean, I dread to think in week 1, week 2, how much that would cost. And I also dread to think how bad that would play. Now, I know you can't use the likes of Muller as a CDM. You might actually want to switch around Muller and Saul in-game. Maybe even put Muller out and bring Koke in and play Saul as a CDM and play Koke as a cam. But, no one's realistically going to build this. That is the worst top 100 team I could build with chemistry in mind. If I was to build it without chemistry, we'd have a different story, as you're about to see with the 4 remaining cards. The last of which, right, take it with a pinch of salt, I feel aggrieved for him. Not that, he's going to care because he's on mega money and plays for one of the best clubs in the world, but it's mind-boggling. First of which is going to be Ziyech. He has been downgraded everywhere apart from pace, where he's gone up by 4, I think. But he's been upped overall from an 84 to an 85. How? Someone explain that to me. Literally downgraded everything apart from pace, and yet he's an 85 now instead of an 84. I'm glad he's a central card. It's not actually a bad card, I just don't understand it. Moving on to Matuidi. Been downgraded in everything bar defensive stats, which is true. If you go look at it, I think he's down 2 in pace, 2 in passing, or even 3 in passing. He's down in dribbling. His defense has stayed the same, and he's down in physical as well. And yet, somehow, has retained his 85 rated. I don't think he'll be the powerhouse that he was in FIFA 19. A lot of people use Matuidi at the beginning. Nice, cheap and cheerful CDM. Not so much anymore. Same with this guy, actually. Fernandinho, he was around 35k at the beginning of FIFA 19 for a long time. But now he's going to be so cheap, bar SBC fodder, because he's just so bad. I mean, one stat above 80 for an 87 rated card is embarrassing. 84 defending is good, sure, but the rest of it, I mean, I'm fed up of saying it, to be honest. It's just not good. How can you justify an 87 rated card for that? So bad. So I don't imagine anyone's going to choose it. This next one, right, just hold on a minute. It's the LIGT. And you might be looking at that thinking, well, hang on, what's wrong with that? 85 rated for a young Dutch centre-back playing for one of the best clubs in the world, and what's wrong with it? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. His FIFA 19 card was 83 rated, okay? Bear that in mind. His pace has come down by 3. His dribbling has gone up by 1. His shooting has come down by 1. His passing has come down by 3. His dribbling has gone up by 1. I think I've already mentioned that. His defensive stat has gone up by 1, and his physical has gone up by 1. How is that an overall 2 upgrade, EA? Please explain to me. His pace should have remained the same. His passing should be 70. His dribbling should be 70. His defending should be 85, maybe even 84, 85. And his physical should be 85, 86. Then you've got yourself a really sexy 85 rated card. As it is, though, shocking. It's not useless, but it's not far off. I won't lie to you, because his passing out from the back is going to be bad. His defensive and physical stats are not going to be amazing. He's going to be a little bit slow off the mark now that it downgraded his pace. I just don't understand. There must be some sort of... There must be new stats there that sort of weigh these down, and they're actually going to be better in-game than they actually look on the face value of things. Because at the moment, half of these cards just don't look right. Let me know down below what you think is going to be the most disappointing card based on the top 100 ratings so far. If you want to see me do maybe the best of the top 100 squad builder, then obviously hit the like button and let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.